Join us for a review of the new Mini Countryman plug-in hybrid. Let's go. In the front we can see round mini shapes, but then again here in the Countryman with a stronger look. This facelift, which counts for the whole model family, also changes a little bit of the grille design. Here the plug-in hybrid counts as the S version horsepower-wise, so also has a sportier styling overall. There are new lamp designs here, and you start with LED from base, and optional a matrix LED is available, and you can see here the daytime running light around it, and also another one would be in the lower part. The length is at 4 meters 30, 14 foot 1 or 169 inches. Talking about inches, 16 to 19 inch wheels are available for the Countryman. These here are the 18 inch wheels with the black design. The logo, which has this E, but at the same time signalizes a plug. And then you can open it, and also this is where you also recharge your vehicle. You see the Union Jack tail lamp design now that was done for the normal Mini before, now also carried over to the Countryman. Then the black big lettering here. The plug-in hybrid version has this E badge here as well to see it, but still a real exhaust pipe. The Mini Countryman in general, 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engines or 2 liter 4-cylinder engines, both for petrol and diesel. And here the plug-in hybrid is based on a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine. Then combined horsepower output is 220, so 220 horsepower. And 6.8 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. Front-wheel drive then with the combustion engine, plus rear-wheel drive with the electric motor in the rear. Then it gives you an all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive only if you are in the pure EV mode. Getting inside, the Countryman is of course more spacious than the typical small Mini, and so also with tall adults, no problem as for headroom, 1 meter 86 or 6'1", so a lot of headroom really. The seats, however, they are really stiff. The form itself is not the most comfortable one, and then especially when you have the animal skin wrap, then it's even tighter as for the seating surface. So I feel that the car should deliver more comfort, being the tallest Mini. Interior overview here, soft touch dashboard, and then the typical round Mini design right here. Houses the touchscreen meanwhile, and always comes with a 5-inch left and 8.8 inch on the right. Head-up display also available, but here in this separate plastic layer. Here the this cockpit layout for all Minis, driving mode selector, start stop of the engine and so on. And there are also really nice details, because when you, for example, pick the driving modes, then the interior ambient lighting switches according. For example, if you are in this green or eco mode or in the sports mode. Instruments, the thing is that especially the inside looks a little bit out of focus, so that should have been made better. However, the middle part will be where the digital speed will be displayed when running the vehicle. Right side fuel status, left side for the electric gauges, and as soon as you are in these yellow dots area, it will be look different when we drive. Then you're still in the EV mode, and when you exceed it, then you will be in the combustion engine mode. And you can see also how the maximum boost is, or in this area you will be then within the recuperation when you lift the throttle or go a little bit on the brakes. This is the main menu of the central infotainment. You have this app view, and you can also use the shortcuts, for example, to see the map, and then zoom in and out with the control knob in the lower middle console. And it's the known BMW GPS here, so also reaction times are actually quite good, and it leads you the way very well. Legroom wise, this works then with 4 tall adults, no problem. And as I said, you can also put this more in a sleeping position or a little bit more upright, for example. And sitting more upright here, also once again with 1 meter 86 or 6'1", it directly fits also with my head. 405 to 1,275 liters is the boot capacity, so you lose about 45 liters here with the plug-in hybrid, so that's quite okay. I already folded one of the seats, but you have like an individual folding mechanism, like 1-1-1, so that's actually quite cool. And when I put a backpack inside, you can see also the dimensions here also easily fits from the height. So overall, very well usable, I think. Maximum speed, pure electric, by the way, 135 kilometers or 80 miles an hour. And the top speed of this vehicle, the total with the combustion engine combined, 200 kilometers or 125 miles. And most of the time you would just leave it in the auto mode, and then you don't really care anymore. You try to recharge it as often as possible and just let the car do its thing, and then hopefully have a lower fuel consumption. Here at the motorway now, since we're in Germany, we also want to give you some motorway impression. At 120 kilometers an hour, the car is reasonably silent. As we know from Mini, even though this is the biggest Mini and an SUV, it delivers you a rather stiff driving feeling. The suspension is really stiff, and we can also show you the maximum performance. Here we can also drive a little bit faster. We also have the normal driving mode, either green for reduced throttle input or sports for increased throttle input, and then also automatic transmission also adapts to it. And we let us drop a little bit further behind. Now that from 90 kilometers to whatever. That's 150 kilometers an hour. That shall be enough for so far. And once again, noise insulation quite good. I don't have to raise my voice that much. And the car is remaining relatively stable indeed due to the stiff suspension. However, if the road is a little bit uneven, then yeah, that can be a little bit rough at times. It is definitely fun to drive, and it's also unique driving feeling, so it feels very sporty. Look at here, that slalom. Steering feel could be a little bit, a little bit more natural. Here in this low degree angle, the steering sometimes feels a little bit loose. So it's good and direct and precise, but a little bit more feedback in these, low degree angles. That would have been quite cool. The overview was actually quite decent. I mean, it has this rather box shape, so due to the sides and so on, it's okay. There is no blind spot monitor for this platform. Same problem with the BMW X1. For such an expensive car, here with everything equipped like 51,000, as it stands right here, we should also have a blind spot monitor, because so many less expensive cars already do offer that for sure. But again, the overview is quite okay. Yeah, the B pillar is quite thick, therefore a blind spot monitor would actually be very good. Now I can also put it to max e-drive. So at the moment we are rear wheel driven, and so when I also hit the throttle, and I feel that I more get the push from the rear. However, if I put a pedal to the metal, you maybe also hear that, then also the combustion engine hops on. This is a safety thing, that when you see, I need to do like a very quick acceleration, then the combustion engine also goes on, that you have the maximum power. So I go back to the max e-drive mode, then I also see it here in these small instruments, these like yellow dots, where I can still see when I'm just driving in the electric mode and when not, and also when I'm recharging once again. I think overall quite interesting drive. We did try some acceleration right here. Still, because we have used the electric drive, we are very low in the fuel economy. Here at the moment it says 3.7 liters in 1 kilometers. Again, if that's really so realistic, always matter of perspective. And also shows me the electric consumption, which is at the moment at a little bit less than 11 kilowatt hours on 1 kilometers. Yeah. What does it say? Not too much, but I can tell you so far, when I compare the figures with other plug-in hybrids, this looks quite decent. Of course, comes close to the X1 BMW. So I think it's really about this combination of the drivetrains which can make it really efficient. Again, using, for example, the combustion engine here on the motorway, and then once again the electric drive predominantly in the city, unless you're driving rather short commuting ways per day. Then you can try to use all electric and then recharge again. So when you're staying like less than 50 kilometers, less than 30 miles, then it can definitely make sense to drive all electric only and then recharge again, but that so much depends on your driving profile. So let me sum up this driving part. The plug-in hybrid drivetrain brings so much more joy. It is quite powerful, so the most powerful in acceleration-wise then besides the John Cooper Works version. So that's definitely fun. The electric driving modes, like now, also fun. Silent in the city, that's definitely very cool. In both cases, if you really want to stress it, like now, I go to the max eDrive mode, say, oh, we're in the city, combustion engine went on, I don't want it at the moment, I want to drive all electric now. I can switch that on. Now I'm all electric once again. Silent driving is always very cool, and you still have decent punch here, like this here in the city with electric drive. This works very well, no problem. Downside of this vehicle, the seating comfort, especially for tall people, not that good. The seats are very stiff. This will be a little bit better when you go with the fabric seats. Here the animal skin seats are also stiffer just from the surface. And the suspension is also very stiff. Pro, it drives sporty, it's fun. But comfort-wise, definitely, for example, the X1 would be better. So, yeah, you shouldn't expect the best comfort from this vehicle. That's the thing. So, very interesting driving impressions for today. Tell us your comments. And now to our conclusion for today with the Mini Countryman plug-in hybrid. In general, there were also some facelift changes. Actually, not too big, but quite nice. With the lamps, with the grille, with the tail lamps in the rear, and also a top infotainment system here for the plug-in hybrid version. In general, it is the most attractive non-John Cooper Works version because it is the most powerful in the Mini lineup now, besides the JCW. And also these electric driving moments are pretty cool. Silent driving in the city, and you can also be very efficient if you recharge frequently, because then you can use the optimum of this combined drivetrains. Exterior wise, it's a styling object, no doubt about that. Interior, also a lot of interesting design cues. However, the comfort of the seats and the suspension, that was probably the worst thing today. So I felt this car should be a little bit more comfortable, especially being the SUV version. However, you also have a sporty go-kart feeling and like driving, as you know from Mini. And again, this drivetrain is actually very interesting to drive, definitely. More fun than probably only with the John Cooper Works version. There's also a review of that, and if you want to see an updated version of that, please also tell us in the comments. And also comment on this PHEV here for today. And in general, what do you think about the Countryman from this Mini lineup, which is, meanwhile, one of their most important models. Thanks so much for tuning in today. See you next time.